Hi, everyone. And for those listening to the recording, my name is Rebecca Kagzi, and I am here to present to you meta advertising tips for 2024. And just coming from just sharing a little bit about myself. So I have about 6 years in social advertising, and I worked with businesses on both a local and national scale, handling budgets from around $10 a day to over $100,000 a month. And the purpose of this webinar is to educate small business owners on effective meta advertising tips using boosted posts. So I reviewed the questions that was sent in, and we will touch upon a lot of it, namely objectives, creatives, targeting, and budget. So please feel free to jot down your questions throughout the presentation, and I'd be happy to answer all of them once the presentation is over. So we're going to be touching upon boosted posts. So boosted posts are a great way to complement your organic social media presence. And when I'm referring to organic, it means the posts you're already putting out on your social feed and stories. So if I say that throughout, that is what I'm referring to. So boosted posts is a type of paid advertising that already exists on your Facebook or Instagram pages. And if you're an admin on that page, you'll be able to see that blue button on the bottom right-hand corner that says like boost post or create ad. More importantly, it is the easiest way to set up paid advertising on your feed. So I'll be going through 4 tips with you. And so the first tip is understanding your business objective. So it is crucial to understand what you want out of your advertising campaign and how this can help your business, because setting that first initial goal will really determine the results you will be getting. So not to put Jesse or Leanne on the spot, do you two currently have a business goal? And feel free to type it in the chat, or if you don't have one at this time, that's completely fine.
Yeah, so one of my goals is to book more music videos.
So it sounds like you need more leads.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, same here. It would just be more leads, maybe in like a targeted area, like in my city or surrounding cities.
Okay, great. So that is one of the objectives that I'll actually be covering. So a few other goals that other people might have are purchases or website traffic or even brand awareness for an upcoming event. And then of course, leads. So one of the goals that I'm going to be talking about is that get more leads goals, and that's a lead generation campaign. So a lead is someone who fills out the form for you to contact them. And this can look like having their names, their email address, their phone numbers, and you could even tailor the form a little bit further. So Leanne, I know you had like a residential, like for painting or commercial, you can ask them in the form like what area you want to, what area they can service. So if they're looking for like Richmond Hill, they can put that in like the short answer field, or you can even tailor the form further. Like if they have like any painting areas of the house, you can put like what areas of the home that you want to paint, and they can put in that short answer field. And then for Jesse too, for the music video that you want to book, you can ask them like what type of music that they're interested in, that type of thing that you can definitely add to the form. So it's really great the things that you could do with lead generation, with that setting up that initial form. And it's a seamless way for people to contact you without having a website, which is really important. So if you are an admin on that page, you are actually able to download all the leads from like your page settings, and which is great. And so you don't have to deal with like a WordPress site and downloading anything off of WordPress or anything like that. It's all on the platform, and it's at your fingertips. So additionally, if you do go this route, I guess the main thing is like having at least 3 to 4 questions at most, because the more questions you have on a lead form, the higher the drop-off rate can be. The next goal that I see a lot of success in is using that website traffic. So website traffic is great for those who have a well-optimized website and a lot of content. So if they have like an e-commerce website or blogs, or they're selling tickets for an upcoming event, directing people to a website can really help with that like end purchase. So I guess the biggest takeaway that I guess you should probably do is like writing down your business needs. So Jesse and Leanne, so having that like key, like I need more leads can really help you dictate like how you want to tailor the campaign. And just remember, your goals might change, so it's important to be agile. One month you might need leads, so you fill that top of the funnel. And the next month you're promoting like a webinar that you might be doing or like a free quote that you might be doing. So just like being able to switch up that goal and converting people is super important. So the next tip that I want to get across is understanding who your target audience is. So effective targeting is key to success on Meta, and a lot of people believe that every person is their ideal target audience, but truly understanding who that can look like you can leverage Meta's targeting options to laser in on those people. So I'm just gonna ask you guys, do you know who your ideal target demographic is? And it's okay if you're not sure. I can walk you through on how that can look like.
I think for me, it would be kind of people who are maybe like first time home buyers, like they're just moving into their homes, or maybe like older couples who are doing renovations and kind of just want like a new space. So I guess it really depends. I don't think there's a specific age really.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, and for me, it's like kind of specific towards musicians. So yeah, pretty wide range within there for who they are, but that's yeah, kind of within the target. There's yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's great. So you guys are starting to answer really great questions. So like the main questions that I like to ask my clients is how old are they? What is their user behavior? What are their interests and where are they located? So just to dive a little bit deeper and just going beyond that age and gender targeting, using interest-based targeting and user behavior and geography is super important into lasering in on those people. So Leanne, I know you had said like first-time home buyers is one of those people. Like that is actually an interest that you can use when you're targeting. Or if you're targeting parents with young children, there is like an endless like amount. There's so many targeting options. You can even like browse it through here to see what other interests could be related. There are musician interests too. Like you can like target people who own a guitar or own a piano. These targeting options are available to you. And then you can even look at their user behavior. So what do they like to do? Do they like to shop online? Do they like to visit a storefront? Those are things that you can also add to your targeting campaign. And more importantly, where are they located or where do you service? So Leanne, like you probably have like some service coverage areas, so you can target those areas in particular. Like if you're targeting like Newmarket or like Ajax, Richmond Hill, you can drop those cities in those geo targets to be able to like maximize your ad dollars. And then Jesse, if you're looking to target like Toronto or anything like that where musicians mainly live, like you can definitely use that as like a targeting option as well. So the biggest takeaway that I want you to grab out of this tip is writing down at least 5 character traits about your ideal target demographic. So with all this being said, there is something called over-targeting, and it is important to find a balance. So if you're using interest-based targeting, the max amount of interest you should put is 3 interests. And so the 3 interests would be like anything in this area right here. Okay. The next tip is creative is the new targeting. And although in our last tip, we talked about how you choose your audience, Meta is increasingly telling advertisers that their AI is very good at delivering the right ad to the right person. That's why you want to differentiate the types of posts you boost. So one week you could do a video and Meta will put it in front of people who tend to watch a lot of video. Next week, do an image and so forth. So the big question is, how do you determine what posts you should boost? So as an admin of your Facebook and Instagram handles, you can go into your page settings and click on insights to see which of your posts did best in terms of reach and engagement. You should be looking at this regularly and crafting your posts around what type of posts are performing well. Those that have high reach engagement compared to your other social posts, you can boost those as long as they align with your current business needs. And if you don't have a post that has done well or aligns with your current business goals, of course, you can create a new one. And what tends to do well are videos that are short, under 15 seconds, and those with quick cuts. And additionally, videos that aren't as produced do well on paid and as people thinking it is an organic post and not being advertised to. So the biggest takeaway that you should probably get out of this tip is identifying a social post from the past 30 days that has done well in terms of reach and engagement. So the final tip is understand what your budget can look like. So if you want a high impact campaign, be prepared to invest in your social media. So depending on your objective and your cost per acquisition, the rule of thumb is you should set aside at least $15 to $25 per day per city you would like to target. Remember, if you target highly populated areas like Toronto, you're in an area that is very competitive for advertising, so your investment should be on the higher end of your budget. I've had a lot of people come to me with a monthly budget of $300 and they want to target all of Canada. So you have to understand that won't be enough to really penetrate the market, and it spreads your dollars very thin. So even if you have maybe $50 to spend on advertising, I'd suggest running a shorter campaign of maybe 2 to 3 days. So just remember to stay informed and adapt your strategies and leverage all the unique features Meta offers by aligning your goals and understanding your audience by using creative content effectively for Meta. And of course, I have a recap. So if you need help with trying to get started on boosted posts, I guess take a quick screenshot here. So just make sure you write down your business needs, write down at least 5 character traits of your ideal target demographic, identify a social post that has done well, and write down the cities you would like to target. And of course, this is a QR code that links directly to my LinkedIn page. So if you have any questions that might come up maybe in a few weeks, a month from now, feel free to DM me and I'll be happy to help you. And I'm just gonna open the floor to you guys to see if you have any questions that I can answer. If you have any.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So I don't have social media started up yet for the company. So does it matter how many followers you have, or can you start running ads with 0 followers or?
Great question. So I would definitely have a social media presence already. So I would I would run ads complementing your organic presence just to make sure they're not going to a profile that's not active. So just having something that's a foundation that's already laid out, even if it's a couple times a week, is super important before you're running any paid advertising.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Does Jesse, do you have a question that maybe I haven't answered throughout this presentation?
I guess this is kind of a general question, but do you have any tips for the ad copy of it? For writing out the post itself to go along with the photos or videos that you have going. Do you have any kind of tips for writing a good hook, I guess?
Yeah, so starting off with the headline itself, I would do something less than 29 characters. And then if you're focusing on the primary text, I would put in a question at the beginning, and I would actually use emojis at the very beginning of the text. So even if it's a guitar or a music note, and then follow it with a question, and then having the body of the text. I found that has worked well. But of course, play around with different variations, because you never know what your audience might be gravitating towards.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
So another question actually. So
Yes.
you were mentioning that it's if you have a budget, it's better to do a higher amount in less days than a lower amount stretched over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've seen within there like Facebook and same with Google, they always seem to have a suggested number that they want you to spend. Um, can you kind of explain the like the reasoning behind that or how they know, kind of that specific number and how important it is to follow along with the number they're trying to give you?
Are you talking about the cost cap? Like
Um,
like
sorry, maybe I'm actually more so thinking Google than Facebook right now, but I know a lot of times.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So
Sorry,
like
I may be confusing two systems here actually.
all good. I don't have a lot of knowledge on Google Ads, but I am part of like a lot of teams with it. And from what I've known is that if they're recommending like a bid range, always fall in between one of them, either the lower end or the higher end of it, just making sure you're capturing that audience.
Okay,
So yeah, I would recommend actually following that bid amount.
right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And like, yeah, like the per $15 per 15 to $25 per day per city, we found that has worked well. So I do work like with a lot of franchise systems on like a local and national scale. So I did find like depending on like how saturated that market is, being in between that range has really like been you were able to penetrate the market. So kind of just sticking to that rule of thumb.
Right, great.
Right.
For the interests, back a couple slides. In terms of like how specific you should be, like, what do you think in terms of that? Like, is it better to be more general in terms of their interests, or like in terms of like painting, maybe they're searching up like renovations or like home decor or something? Like, I'm not sure. Like, what do you think in terms of like how broad? Like, is it better to be more broad or more specific?
It's definitely better if you're prospecting, you should be going broad. So the most
Okay.
amount of interest that I would put in a campaign is 3. So there are like home repairs and home renovation interests within that detailed targeting. So kind of just finding that like sweet spot and making sure that like you want people that are interested in to be like in home repairs or home decor or home renovations and stuff like that, and not going way beyond that. Like really niching into it because you also want to let Meta kind of like use their AI technology and kind of like target to people who will find relevance to your ads. So a lot of it because you have to kind of play with both the interest and the creative. So making sure that the creative also matches your interest targeting. So you don't want like that to be confused in messaging, if that makes sense.
Right. And like, for example, since if they're searching a service on Google, for example, like I know that might not be in your expertise, but if they were to look up like painting in Toronto or whatever area they live in, does that get captured in terms of like Facebook ads? Like, is that all kind of correlated?
Yeah. So it is being correlated, like whatever you're searching outside of the platform, even within the platform, you'll notice that like sometimes the content that you're getting will be with what you're searching. I know a lot of the times like when I'm talking out loud with a friend, all of a sudden I'll see an ad that's almost relevant, right? So
Yeah.
there is a thing where it's like if you're searching outside and getting captured by cookies, you could be retargeted with ads. So yes.
Okay. Yeah, that was super interesting and really insightful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions?
Can I get a copy of your presentation?
Yeah, for sure. I think there is going to be a recording version of it.
Okay, perfect.
But if anything, I'll send the entire deck to everyone.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, of course. And if you guys want to, I'll just keep up this QR code. Feel free to like connect with me on LinkedIn if you do have any questions when you're building the campaign and you want to meet if you need help or anything like that. Just let me know.